Hello, how old are you?
Hey, what's up, man? 46.
All right, cool. What do you lose by calling trans women women?
Say again.
What do you lose by calling trans women women?
Freedom.
How do you lose your freedom?
I don't have to call any other person what they want to call their pronouns by.
I didn't say you did. I didn't say what do you lose by being forced to call them that. No, I just said what do you lose by not calling them that?
I don't lose anything.
Oh, okay. So why don't you?
But I don't have to call them anything.
Sure, but if you don't lose anything by doing it, why don't you?
Right. So I don't have to refer to them as anything.
I agree, but if you don't lose anything, why don't you?
I'm sorry, say again.
I agree that you don't. Nobody is forcing you, and you should not be forced to do anything. I agree with that, but I'm saying if you lose nothing, why not do it?
I don't have to engage in them. I don't have to,
Agreed.
whenever they speak to me, I don't have to call them anything.
I'm not saying you do. I'm saying if you lose nothing by doing it, why not do it?
Nah, you're reversing the argument, bro.
No, I'm not.
You're reversing the
Do
argument
you not? What?
because if
How am
they're
I reversing it? That's the
demanding
question.
if they're demanding to be called women, then what am I supposed to do?
If you
You
lose
want me to call
nothing,
them women?
yeah. Do you lose anything by doing that?
That I will not call them women.
Do you lose
They're
anything by
demanding
doing
to
it?
call them. They're demanding to be called women, and I refuse to call them women.
Do you lose
So where are we
anything?
at?
Do you lose anything?
100%.
What? What do you lose?
We're losing the rights of women.
How so?
Women being women themselves.
What rights have
They
what
are
rights are being
not
taken away from
women.
women?
They are not women.
What rights are being taken away from women?
The right of being a woman. If they're not women, that if you're telling me that we have to accept that they are women, then they are women. And they are not the same. They're not the same creatures.
I'm sorry. You think that that by calling trans women women, women have now all of a sudden not become women anymore?
Absolutely. You're taking away from women.
Okay. Well,
And
what's a woman?
you're perversing what women really are.
Perversing it. Okay. What is a woman?
A woman is a female that has boobs, a vagina, has the ability to have children, has a different nature than what men are.
Is that necessary to like? Are these things that are these things required to be a woman?
Absolutely.
Okay. So if a woman is born without a vagina, she's not a woman.
There's different genetic phenomenies that will happen that
John, you
just
just said it's required.
okay, let's go with it.
Okay, so if a woman is born with, for instance, vaginal agenesis, and she does not have a vagina or reproductive system, then she is not a woman because you said that a vagina is required.
Man, you can take this and you can pervert it and you
I
can do
I'm not
whatever you
perverting.
want.
I asked you that question. I asked you, is this required? You said yes.
Is my requirement a 100% reason to make a woman a woman?
Well, I asked you
No,
what a
it's
woman
not.
is. If okay, so then do you don't know for sure what a woman is?
No, I know what a woman is.
Okay, and women are required to have vaginas.
Okay, you tell me what a woman is.
A woman is any adult human whose gender identity aligns with their social schema on females.
Gender identity.
Yes, gender identity.
Gender.
Yes.
Absolutely not. Just because you can't decide to be a woman.
Nobody's deciding. Gender identity is not something you decide. It's an innate sense of self. You don't decide your
That's
gender identity. Your gender identity is like
that's not
innate.
true, man. That's not
Well,
true.
yes, it is.
We both know it.
Well, yes, it
Are you a
is.
Democrat or a Republican?
Neither.
Don't lie. You're a Democrat or a Republican?
I mean, I
Either
was
way.
registered Republican up until like 2 months ago,
Ex-
and then I registered Democrat so
Okay.
I can vote in the primaries. But I
Okay,
am
now
most
you're a
likely going to
Democrat.
vote independent in the next
No,
election.
no. You're a Democrat.
Yeah, so I can
Now
vote
you're a
in the
Democrat.
primaries. Yeah, so I can vote in the primaries.
So how can you be a Republican?
I was a Republican. I was
You
registered
can't.
Republican.
Yeah, but you can't be a Republican anymore because now you're a Democrat.
Yes, I initially I was registered Republican so I could vote in the Republican primaries. Now I'm registered Democrat because I want to vote in the
But
Democratic
you can't
primaries.
be a Republican
For the next
anymore.
election, I'm most likely going to vote independent because I don't like either party.
But you can't be a Republican now, can you?
Wait, I can literally go to the DMV and re-register as a Republican if I feel like it.
Can you register as a man or woman?
I mean, technically, I can go to the DMV and change the sex on my driver's license. Yeah.
And dude, no, you can't.
Yes,
That's
you
so
can.
fucking stupid.
Yes, you can. You can change the sex on your driver's license if you are trans. Yeah, you can. I don't know if you know this, but like it's fairly easy to do. When I'm filling out my driver's license, they don't ask me to look at my dick to prove that I'm a male when I'm checking off the box of male. It's just the box I check off.
If I was putting you in jail, I would 100% make sure that you didn't have a dick before I put you in the male population.
Okay,
And
so
if
we
you
should be looking at
identified-
people's dicks before we put them in jail.
And if you identified as a male, I would make sure before I put you in to the male population. It's just the fact of what it is.
So you think we should be looking at prisoners' genitals?
You don't know how that works, do you?
How what works?
Getting locked up. Getting put
Yeah, I'm
in
asking
jail.
you if you think we should examine prisoners' genitals.
There has to be an identification before you get classified and locked up.
So you think when someone goes to jail, they have a genital inspection before we decide what prison to send them to?
100%. It's asked.
So if
Male,
somebody
female.
had a sex change operation, so you have a man who now has a vagina, a trans woman, if you will, John, that now has a vagina, where would you send them?
Isolation.
So you think they should be separated from the rest of the population?
I don't think I know. They're going to be isolated.
Do you think trans people in general should be separated from the population?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so why do you want to do it in prison?
Because how do you protect them?
Protect who? The trans person?
The trans person. How do you
Not
protect
sending
them?
not sending them with a bunch of cisgender men. Typically would be the best way to protect them.
No. You're dealing with a sexual disidentification person who doesn't really know who they are.
They know who they are. They had a sex change operation because they knew who they were. That's why they had the
Prove
bottom
that.
surgery.
Okay, they had a bottom surgery. Prove to me that they're not a sexual predator. Amongst the other sexual predators,
They
that are
went
probably,
they went to jail for tax fraud. Why should I prove anything about them being a predator?
Well, unfortunately, we don't have that luxury.
Okay, so you think that they should be guilty until proven innocent?
So what do we do whenever they get assaulted? It's
Whenever
gonna be
they get assaulted by somebody
taxpayers'
else?
fault,
Whenever they
and
get assaulted
it's
by
gonna be
somebody
the
else?
taxpayers' fault, and it's going to be the taxpayers that are going to be paid to get the defamation lawsuits.
What do
and
we
all
do
this
when
other
what do we
bullshit.
do when cis men are assaulted by cis men in prison? What do we do then?
Or we lock them down.
Okay,
And
I would do
more
this.
time.
Then that's what I would do.
No, you're not. You are in support of anything that is in anything other than cis people. You want to use this term cis people.
Wait,
you want to
how did I just tell you what I would do and then your response is no, you wouldn't do that. I just told you what I would do.
No, you wouldn't.
Prove that.
Well, prove that I wouldn't do anything that I was telling you that I was going to do. Prove that.
Are you saying words, John? You have to form those words into sentences.
But I said that I wouldn't do what I would do.
What are you talking about? You didn't make a claim. I made the claim that I would just do what we do when cis men assault cis men. I would do the same thing, and you prove it. Prove that I wouldn't.
Dude, all you're trying to do is trying to promote some perverse BS.
Why are trans people perverse, John? Why are trans people perverse?
It's not what we're created to do.
Was I created to wear glasses?
That's a malformation of
Was I
truth.
created to wear glasses?
That's a malformation of truth.
It's a yes or no question. Were we created to drive cars? Were we created to... So then is it perverse that we drive cars?
Are we created to make creation? We are created to continue creation.
I don't think we were created for any specific reason. I think a byproduct of being a species is that we reproduce, but I don't think we were created to reproduce. I think reproduction is just a byproduct of existing.
By logic, then murder is not wrong.
How the fuck do you make that leap?
I'm sorry, say again?
How do you make that leap?
If we're not created for purpose, then murder is not wrong.
How do you make that logical leap?
Then why should we be here?
I don't think there's a specific reason why humans exist.
Then why is murder wrong?
Because murder causes harm to another sentient creature.
What is harm if we have no goals or...
I didn't say we don't have goals.
All right. Then what's right and wrong?
Moral right and wrong for me would be limiting harm. Morally, what is right is doing the thing that causes the least amount of harm.
So what's your moral right and my moral wrong?
On what?
On transphobia, on everything.
Well, you think morally trans people are wrong, but you can't tell me why that is.
All right, let's go on just the human existence.
What about it?
What's right and wrong between murder and not murder?
I just told you murder is wrong because it causes harm to another sentient creature.
Okay. Where's the harm in being straight?
I don't think there is any harm in being straight. Just like I think there is no harm in being gay. You're not harming another sentient creature.
The harm in being gay is the multitudes of individuals committing suicide, the psychological disinfluation.
You think they commit suicide because they're gay? Or do they commit suicide because of the fact that they're stigmatized in society?
Absolutely. It's a combination of both and more of the stigmatism than anything else.
Okay, so wouldn't it that then be that gay is not what's harm? It's stigmatizing gay people is what is harmful.
Stigmatizing gay people is a horrible thing. We should not do it. need to accept it, understand it, and you know what? It's because I don't understand it doesn't mean it's not a real thing.
Okay, so then there is no inherent harm in being gay. The harm is just what society does to gay people.
No, not necessarily, because they have their own self guilt.
Why do they have
They,
self-guilt? Because
well, I
they're
think
going against what society has told them is right for their whole life.
very possible. But at the same time, I think there's a very, or I believe our soul fights against good and evil all the time.
Well, I don't believe in a
And
soul, John, so I don't know how we can like there's no way to quantify a soul. It's not something you can
well,
prove by
if you
any
don't
like
believe,
measures.
if you don't believe in a soul, there's kind of there's a hard thing to debate then.
Well, yeah, I don't think we can argue from the point of a soul because I don't believe humans have souls. I believe humans are a complex combination of electronic firings in our brain, and that the soul doesn't do anything. That's why if you get a brain injury, you can wake up as a whole nother person because like the soul doesn't hold anything. It's our brains that do.
Man, we could have such a big debate on that, and the debate on how we got here, alien life form, everything else, but that's unfortunately not the topic.
Well, yeah, you've made the claim
Switch it
that.
if you want.
Well, hold on. We've gotten here naturally because your claim is that trans people are perverse, but you haven't been able to substantiate to me why that is.
It's the entire reason that the world is where it is. And
John, I don't know what that
they
means.
perverse people have always been required to be on the planet.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm asking you why you think trans people are perverse.
They're a less than 3% purpose of the population that have always been here.
That doesn't tell. There's less than 3% of redheads. I wouldn't say redheads are perverse, right? That doesn't. Being perverse means that they're opposing what is right. You're making a moral claim when you say that they're perverse. You're saying they are not right. So what is like what about trans people makes them morally wrong?
How do you continue the culture? How do you continue the populace? How do you continue anything with homosexual people or these trans people? Because they can't do anything.
Two things.
They
Two
can't
things.
continue to the
Sure.
population.
Two things. If I have a trans woman and a trans man who have not had bottom surgery, so they both still, I have a trans man and a trans woman who are in a relationship. The trans man still has a vagina and the trans woman still has a penis. Can they reproduce?
No.
The answer is yes. Happens all the time. Because one still has a vagina, the other still has a penis. So the reproduction thing is out. Trans people can still reproduce. Second off, I don't think not reproducing is morally wrong.
You'll vote for Biden no matter what.
I'm not voting for Biden in this election.
Oh no, 100%.
No, I'm not voting. I am not voting for Biden in this election.
100%. Because you're absolutely delusional. You don't know the difference between men and women.
John. This is
Listening?
This is what we call in the debate world a pivot. I asked you a very simple question that if a person has a penis and another person has a vagina, can they get pregnant? Can they reproduce? The answer is yes.
No, they can't. The debate world, what that's called is a squirrel debate.
You think that people with penises and people with vaginas can't reproduce?
Absolutely not.
How did you get here, John? How did you get here? How did you get here, John?
You're a squirrel debater.
How did you get here, John?
Vagina and penis always meet up to make creation.
So when I'm saying that a person who has a vagina meets up with a person who has a penis, what can they do?
It's a man and woman that meet up. You're a squirrel debater, dude.
John, this is so embarrassing, and I'm trying to be calm and like lead you there, but it's crazy the things that you're saying. Trans men can get pregnant by trans women. Trans men still here's a bigger question for you. You think that trans women are really just men, right? You think that trans women are just men, right?
A man and a woman could get pregnant. A penis and a vagina can meet and get pregnant. There's no difference. You're a squirrel debater, dude.
John, you made the claim that trans people cannot reproduce, therefore they're morally wrong. I just demonstrated to you how trans people can reproduce, and now you're calling me a squirrel debater for demonstrating that they can do this inherent thing that you claim they can't do.
If an actual trans man was going to get pregnant, he would have to rape a trans woman.
What the fuck are you talking about, John? Are you fucking dumb?
No, a trans man can't get fucking pregnant unless he was with a fucking woman. And he would have to fucking rape her.
Bro, first of all, I'm going to stop you there. Stop. This is the fucking dumbest shit I've ever heard. Trans women can have penises. Trans men can have vaginas. Trans women and trans men can be in consensual relationships where a trans woman puts her penis in a trans man's vagina. And guess what happens when penis and vagina meet and there's no contraception, Johnny boy? They can get pregnant. There is no grape that needs to happen. You are a fucking disgusting human being, but you want to talk about what's morally right and what's morally wrong? Get the fuck out of here. Bye. Ain't no fucking way, bro. Ain't no fucking way.